Hey everybody, welcome to another video. Today I want to show you how to scale your roofing business to $5 million plus using ads. Now, who am I? My name is Noah and I run a roofing marketing agency working with a lot of roofing companies, and I know that a very common goal among the people I work with is to hit that $5 million revenue a year. So that's why I'm making a video about this, and I actually already helped companies in the past to reach that goal using advertising. Now, it's not going to be only advertising. It's not going to be just throwing up some ads, scaling up, and then making $5 million a year. There's a lot more to it. So in this video, I kind of want to walk you through what you can expect when you go into paid advertising, and how the game actually plays out in the first couple of months and also in the long term, and how you actually going to make it work and reach this $5 million revenue goal. And this video is going to be a bit less on the technical side, so I won't really go too deep into how to build like specific ads, but I think it's one of my most important videos because actually understanding the game and having an actual game plan and good expectations when going into this is a lot more important than just having some ads, because at the end of the day, it's going to be a long testing process. You're going to have to test a lot of things. You're going to have to be creative if you want to differentiate yourself anyways. So just giving you some ads that work, like they might work for a couple of weeks, maybe for a couple of months, but it won't get you to 5 million a year. So yeah, I think this is a very important video. And in terms of the structure, so first of all, I kind of like want to talk about reverse engineering, because I think if you actually take your goal and go into the numbers and look at the KPIs and see what do I actually need to do step by step to get there is super important. Then the second step is what you need to get started essentially. So the basic stuff you need to have set up before launching an advertising campaign. Then your first campaign, what you need to know, what you need to consider, expectations, stuff like that, and then how to properly test. And again, like expectations in the first 1, 2, and 3 months, and then from there, just how to really scale up your campaign. So vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. If you don't know what that is, that's totally fine. I will get into that. And then, kind of like hopefully just give you an idea and give you a plan, an execution plan, so you can go into this with the right mindset. So first of all, reverse engineering. Why are we doing this? Just so, again, like we can break it up into actual like tangible numbers, and we know what we need to do and what we need to reach in order to get to our goal. So the goal is $5 million revenue in a year. And usually the average ticket value, it says ticket, but average ticket value is 15 grand. At least from what, from my experience with advertising on Facebook and Google. I mean, obviously you're gonna try to get high ticket replacement jobs, like the 30, 40, 50k jobs, but there are still gonna be a lot of like 10k jobs that are gonna come in. So I'd say like the average ticket value is probably gonna be around $15,000 per job when you look at like across the whole board. So theoretically, you would need I already did the math, you would need about 333 jobs in a year to reach that $5 million in revenue. Now, obviously, you already have a business, you already have jobs coming in organically through word of mouth, whatever you're doing. So advertising will probably, if you're not already doing this, kind of like just on top of what you're doing right now. Plus, there will also be, obviously, like let's just say you get 20 jobs from advertising. Then out of those 20, if you do a good job, a lot of them will maybe even refer you to other people, so you will get more jobs. So there's what I call the front end return on investment. So kind of like the tangible, like you invest $100 into ads and you get one job back that's worth 15k. So now you have the front end ROI. But if that person then refers someone else, then the return on investment technically gets a lot higher, but that's what I call the back end ROI. So there's a lot to factor in that you can't really 100% like tell up front. You will just have to go with it. But I just went with the example of 150 jobs, because let's just assume you already got, again, like a good amount of jobs coming in, obviously, and then you will get referrals as well from the people you get from paid advertising. So let's just say to reach this goal, we need to get 150 jobs in a year. just as an example, right? A general example. And in order to do that, we first of all need to look into the average KPIs. And again, I'm just giving you like average numbers right here, because this is what I see across the people I work with and the companies. So yeah, this is the best data I can give you. For example, the lead into answer rate with, at least with Facebook ads, is about 70% usually. You can get it a bit higher, obviously, if you like very persistent on the follow up, if you get like great structures and everything. But usually, the average company, like you will probably reach about 70% of the leads that you get. Sometimes it's 80, and then out of the people that you get that will actually answer the phone after they sign up, about 50% of them will actually convert into an inspection, and therefore also into an estimate. And out of those 50%, roughly 35% convert into a job. Again, averages. Like if you got a great team of closers, if you already got like great internal structures and everything, and you really optimize for a super high quality lead, then you will obviously be able to get higher numbers than this. But with the kind of like approach that I take and with the companies I work with, this is kind of like a good average that we can go with for this example. Now, so out of 100 leads, you would get 13 jobs if you consider those KPIs. So let's just say you get 100 leads. 70% of them answer, that's 70 answers. 50% of them convert into an estimate, so that's 35. And then out of those 35 estimates, 35% convert into a job, so that's about 12 to 13 jobs out of 100 leads that you get. Now, the average cost per lead, and again, we're just talking averages, is $30. You can get this as low as like $15 or $20, but let's just go with $30 per lead. And you need, in order to reach that goal of $5 million in revenue, we said you need 150 jobs. So considering those conversion rates and how many leads you need to get 13 jobs, you would approximately need 1,154 leads to reach that goal through Facebook. And then you can do the math, like how much this will cost you over the year. But again, like the reason I'm showing you this is not so much because for you to like really go with those numbers and use them. It's more of like you need to understand the process of reverse engineering and actually looking at the numbers and your very own KPIs. Like if you track that already, then you can just look at like how are your KPIs, how's your lead to answer rate, how's your answer to inspection and estimate to job percentage, and you can even go deeper into it and then just do the same thing with your numbers. And yeah, but in general, this is what you need to understand. It's very good to just do this before you get into this. Now, what you need to get started. Let's just say you just start advertising. You've never really done it before, and you want to build it out like in-house. Then you will first of all obviously need a CRM. Super important, non-negotiable. A lot of you guys will probably already have a CRM. Just make sure that that's really like organized and you can really work with that. I know a lot of people that kind of like they have a CRM, but they don't really use it to its full extent. Like they just kind of like the leads kind of like they are in there, but it's not really organized, and you really want to have like a nice overview of every single like pipeline stage and all that. So that's something you should have in place. Then second of all, automations. Super important. I have a lot of videos on my YouTube channel. Again, if you want something more technical, like how to build out those automations with different softwares or video ads and all that stuff, you can check out my channel. But for now, it's really just like a theoretical video, I would say. So yeah, automations like text message automations, email automations, like a key factor, because if you're starting, like if you're at one point you're gonna get like hundreds of leads every month, then you will need a very big team first of all. So this is also like the next thing. You need a very good and probably like big inbound sales team, or an AI that can kind of like handle the inbound, the amount of inbound. And if you have like automations, so text message or email automations, that really helps you to just get like a lot of those leads, like to just keep them like involved in a conversation and kind of like warm, I would say. So definitely something you should have in place. And then again, yeah, inbound sales team. So if you're just starting off, obviously, like you're not going to start off with a daily budget of $500. You're not going to go in there and start seeing like hundreds of leads in month one. it's pretty much the opposite. Like in month one, you will probably not see a lot. So obviously, you don't need to have everything like super built out in the beginning, but you should definitely have an inbound sales team. On a side note, by the way, like if you're by yourself, if you're just starting out, that's okay. I have a lot of people that I just started working with that are kind of like by themselves. They don't have like sales reps, or they just have like 2 or 3 sales reps, which is fine in the beginning. It's just still, like, if you have this is great. And then again, like a social media account, super important obviously if you want to run ads on social media. And I would say a lot of people think they need to have like a crazy social media account, but you don't really have to. You should still take care of it. So it would be good if you have like a couple hundred followers on there and some nice looking posts, because this kind of like boosts the ads from my experience. But even if it's just like a very simple account, like you just got a couple followers, make it seem legit, put your website and address in there, all that stuff, maybe a couple of posts, some drone footage of like nice looking projects, and that's it. So nothing special, just like a clean, good social media account. Then we have ads and video material, obviously. So I would prepare 5 to 10 video ads to start off with, because that's going to be a lot. Like if you also test different targeting options, then let's just say you have 10 video ads and you test a broad ad set on Facebook versus a detailed ad set and maybe another one, then you already have like a lot of ads to test. And especially if you start off on a lower budget, then that's going to be plenty. So I would say, yeah, 5 to 10 ads to start off with. Just get some video material together that you already have. Do some voiceover ads, is what I tell you people a lot. Or even like you can get in front of the camera yourself and just record an ad, or whatever you have, like customer testimonial videos. Just be creative and just try to, with those 5 to 10 ads, really try 5 to 10 different ideas. So not like the same video 5 to 10 times. I mean, sometimes you can kind of like split test the same video with different hooks, but in the beginning, I think it's better to really like have a broad spectrum of different kind of styles and different ads to really test out. And then last but not least, you should have a landing page in place. I personally don't like using on Facebook, for example, like the Facebook lead forms. I think they come up with a pretty low quality lead. So like from the get-go in the beginning, just go with the landing page. It's just working way better in my experience. And yeah, just get this built out, so you can either do this yourself or you can get someone like me to help you with this. But a clean looking good landing page that's optimized to convert well is key. So definitely have that built out. Then your first campaign. So I would say I would pretty much always start off with a daily budget of at least $50. Don't go below $50. I'd say you can start off with $50 to $100. Like if you really want to go into it and really like get results fast, and kind of like fasten the process of like the warm up phase and everything, you can go with 100 a day. If you kind of like just want to like go in carefully and just kind of like test things out, 50 is totally fine. So that's 1,500 a month, and you can already get good business off of that. Like with most people I work with, we just start at 50 and we close a couple of jobs in the first month, and then we just scale up. And then you should also start off with a large location. That's kind of like a tip that I can give you, and then narrow it down later, because especially when your ad account is new, you want to have a large location that's kind of like that with like a bigger audience size ideally. I mean, obviously you can only do as much as your service area allows you to, but yeah, try to keep it broad. And then later on, like if you really go deeper into the testing, you can create like more campaigns and just narrow it down and target zip codes in smaller areas. But in the beginning, just keep it broad. And then what I always do is just I have 2 ad sets, one broad ad set and one detailed ad set. So again, if you have 5 to 10 video ads with 2 ad sets, so one broad and one detailed, then you already, let's just say you have 10 video ads with 2 ad sets, that's already 20 ads. So that's a lot, especially when you run a lower budget like this. Yeah, so that's kind of like the setup when you get into this, just so you know. And again, like if you need more technical stuff on how to set this up, how to come up with some good video ads, how to come up with a good landing page, all that stuff, the targeting and all that, even like automations and stuff like that, then you can check out my channel for more like technical tutorials. And then testing and expectations. Now there are a couple of rules that I came up with for testing, first of all. So I would say always spend 2 to 3 times the desired cost per lead per per ad before kind of like adjusting. What I mean by that is like if your desired cost per lead is $30, like if we go back to the very beginning and you went through like the whole process and say, hey, I need a $30 cost per lead in order to reach my goal, then I would say you should spend, or you should wait until the ad spend about $60 to $90 before you change anything. And that's because a lot of people kind of like overreact. Like they spend like $50 on an ad, and kind of like, start kind of like, oh, maybe this doesn't work, I didn't get like a single lead, and they kind of like start changing things. But you really need to chill out and go in with the mindset of like, I'm gonna lose some money here in the beginning. Maybe, like, especially if you're a beginner and you don't really know what you're doing, you're most likely gonna lose some money until you kind of like figure it out and find some winning ads. So wait long enough. I would even say like 2 to 3 times is not even that much, so you can even wait a bit longer. And I, by the way, mean 2 to 3 times per ad, not per campaign. So if you have a campaign with 10 ads, then don't change anything if you just spend like $100 on the campaign. You can start changing when like a single ad, for example, spend like $100 and you didn't get a single lead. Then you can turn that specific ad off but leave the rest of the ads on. And then what I would always recommend is analyze the data before adjusting. So you don't just like, okay, this ad doesn't work, so I turn it off. This can work if you just keep testing like a lot. But I mean, when you're spending money on ads, then technically you're buying data. So even if you're not getting leads, you still have valuable data that you can use or not use. So I would say like look at the data, and I will show you in a second what data I would personally look at on Facebook. That's really important. But track the data before adjusting anything. So you really like know what the problem is. Like, for example, if you know, okay, this video hooks a lot of people and a lot of people kind of like engage with the video, but no one converts on the back end, then you probably know, okay, maybe there's something wrong with my landing page. Maybe my landing page is not really loading properly or whatever it is. And then I would also always recommend to track your back end conversions. So just to kind of like determine lead quality and the return of on investment. What I mean by that is don't just like, sometimes one ad has a cost per lead of like $100 and then you think like, okay, this is super bad, let me just turn this off. But maybe let's just say you got 3 leads from that ad and 2 of them converted into jobs, while with another ad you may have a cost per lead of $30 but you don't get anything, like any conversions from that. Then you know that with the other campaign that has a cost per lead of $100, your lead quality is a lot higher, so your return on investment might be actually better. Meaning that the ad is better. So always track the back-end conversions and really go into like how good are the leads. Super important part. And then I would say, just repeat until you find a couple of winners. So pretty simple. Just keep testing. Again, always spend enough, wait long enough, analyze the data, adjust, and then you kind of like just repeat that process. Now, the Facebook ad metrics are kind of like, so the data that you I would recommend to look at is this right here. And you really don't need more than that. Facebook gives you a lot of like different data points and things you can look at, and if you get very deep into it, you can obviously like use more than just those right here. But especially if you're starting off, I would literally just look at those, and they will just tell you everything that you need to know. So first of all, there's the CTR, the link CTR, which is the click-through rate. So how many % of the people that watch your ad actually click through and click on the ad. Very important, because this just tells you like, is the offer, for example, or what you're telling them in the ad, is this interesting to the people? Because if a lot of people see your ad but nobody clicks on it and wants to learn more, then you know that the content that you're saying on your ad sucks. Then the CPM is kind of like a thing. The only reason I have it on this list is because it's obviously very important, because it's the cost per mil, meaning how much you pay per 1,000 impressions. So if this is very high, like if your CPM is very high, then you will spend a lot of money, but not a lot of people will see your ad. While if it's very low, you can spend very little money and a lot of people will see your ad. So obviously this is like a key metric, super important. But the thing with this is that a lot of the times you can't really change it that much. So there are factors like things you can control, like you can kind of like, especially if you are in a very small location, this tends to be a bit higher, while when your audience size is bigger, it tends to be a bit lower, which is good. So that's why I recommend starting off with the broader audience. But other than that, there's really not that much you can do in order to bring that down. It's really just, sometimes it's enough to literally duplicate the same campaign and all of a sudden your CPM goes down. Or what happens also a lot is on a new ad account, when you just start a campaign, the CPM is just super high in the beginning, but then for some reason it just starts dropping as you get more data. So kind of like a random metric, because it's very important, but you can't really control it a lot. So yeah, you can take a look at it, but yeah, there's not much you can do probably. And then just total link clicks. So at the top we have the link click through rate, so how many percent of the people that see your ad click through, and the total link clicks will just show you like the total clicks that your ad got. Then the cost per click. Now you can see a lot of this channel like just revolves around the link click. So kind of like the when somebody clicks on your ad, because that's a very important metric, obviously, because that's essentially telling you like, is your ad resonating to your audience? Are people interested in this or not? Which is like pretty much the most important thing. So the CPC is just like the cost per click, so how much you pay for a click. If this is very high, then obviously that's a big problem. Like you want to get it ideally around $5 or below. And then you have the conversion rate percentage. So what this is kind of like just a custom metric that I create. So it's leads divided by link clicks. You can even like just take your calculator and calculate this manually. You can say, hey, I got 10 total leads and 30 link clicks. So 1/3 out of the link clicks that I got converted into leads, meaning that my conversion rate is like 33%. Super important metric, because if that's very low, sometimes it is like your ad is great, like your ad is performing super well and you just got a very good cost per click, meaning that you just get a lot of clicks on your ad, but then you don't get any leads. And then the problem is that on the back end, your landing page is just not converting very well, because your conversion rate on the landing page is bad. And that's usually because your landing page just sucks, or it doesn't load, or whatever it is. And this is why I mean like it's super important to look into the metrics and analyze them before making a change, because maybe an ad is like performing super well and you get a super good cost per click, but you don't get any leads, and then you just kind of like immediately change the ad up and just change the ad instead of changing what's actually the problem, which is the landing page in the back end. And then other than that, it's really just like the super simple metrics. Like obviously you want to look at results, so how many leads you get, cost per result, how much are you paying for a lead, how much you spend in total. So this is literally like everything that I use. You can like copy that into your Facebook account. Here on the right side you can see an image of all those metrics, and this is what I really look at usually. Now what to expect in the first 3 months. So I kind of like just have like visualized this right here. So usually in the first month it's pretty simple. The beginning is a bit more like, it can be a bit slow. It's not like scaling from the beginning. It's more of like a process in the first 3 months. So month 1, it's kind of like the warm-up phase, especially the first couple of weeks, kind of like the learning phase on Facebook. So you can either like get super nice results off the bat, like you launch a campaign and immediately close jobs, or and then it kind of like tapers down, or you just start off like very slow, because it's really a very inconsistent stage where it's really like Facebook is just learning. So generally your cost per lead will be a bit higher, like usually, and then you will just have to do lots of testing again, like prepare 10 video ads, test them against each other, give them enough spend before you change them, and analyze the data. And then in month 2, you should kind of like have your first maybe 2 to 3 winning ads that kind of like produce a very good cost per lead and also like a decent quality lead, and then you can just keep them running, and your cost per lead will definitely decrease because your Facebook account gathers more data. So they like, Facebook knows what people to target and what people not to target. And then in month 2 you usually start like, unless you have like a very good first month and immediately start closing, in month 2 you will kind of like see the first return on investment. So you will start closing the first leads you got in month 1 usually, and then get some more appointments. And then in month 3, you should hit your goal KPIs, and then you're kind of like ready to scale up. So this is kind of like what I would say happens usually in the first 1 to 3 months. Can be different for you. Sometimes you just, again, like have huge success off the bat. But that's kind of like generally how I like to see it. And then yeah, so how do you actually, like, let's say you reach month 3 and you hit your goal KPI. So you know your cost per lead is where it should be, your conversion rate on the back end is where it should be, you made your first return on investment, meaning like you close your first jobs. What to do now? So now you want to scale, and there are really 2 types of scaling. There's vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. Vertical scaling is really just increasing the ad budget. So you slowly increase the ad budget by 10 to 20% a day. Why 10 to 20% a day? Because you want to rather do it slow, because if you do it too fast and you just double and triple the ad spend, then a lot of the times the results will start getting worse, because Facebook can't really like work with that and gets confused, if that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, if you're on a very low budget, like let's say you're on 50 and you just increase it to 100, it probably won't make like a big difference. But I would say, just to be safe, like increase it by like 20% a day, very like slowly, and that should work great. And then yeah, just keep tracking your KPIs to make sure that they stay consistent as you scale. So let's just say you boost your ad budget from $50 to $150. You want to make sure that your cost per lead stays the same, and that the back-end KPIs, meaning how many of those leads you actually convert, also stays the same. Because a lot of the times, for example, people get kind of like overwhelmed with the lead volume. So you want to make sure that the lead volume is manageable, while still maintaining KPIs. Like if you get triple the leads but your sales team can't handle it, your probably your KPIs will go down, because they can't close as many of those leads, because they just don't have the capacity. So yeah, make sure that that's the case, and then you can just start slowly increase the budget to, I'd say, about 200 a day before you should start horizontal scaling, which I will talk about in a second. But about like 150 to 200 a day, you can just slowly increase the budget, make sure that everything is staying the same and everything is good, increase the budget, and just like repeat that process. Sometimes you need to throw in some new ads at this stage, because even if you started off with 10 ads and like different things, then sometimes it's good to kind of like look at the data again, like say, okay, those are like my winning ads, and then you need to analyze like, why are those ads winning? Why are they different from the other ads? And kind of like take those principles and come up with new ideas and just throw some fresh stuff in, because at this stage, a lot of the times like ad fatigue also kicks in. So you will start like your results that were great in the beginning, just start like tapering down a bit. So you just need to consistently like feed the campaign with new content and stuff like that, test out new things, while still staying in the same like lane that kind of like worked for you. And then don't increase the budget too fast. When you hit 200 a day, start horizontal scaling. Now, horizontal scaling is instead of just increasing the ad budget and just like on the same campaign, just like tripling the ad budget or adding 20%, what you do is you, for example, just duplicate that exact same campaign. So now you have 2 campaigns, the original one that's still running like it did before, plus a new one which is the exact same one that you run with the same daily budget. So technically you doubled your daily budget, but you kind of like now you have 2 campaigns with more ads running live. And technically you can start scaling horizontal earlier, but I like to do it like at around 150 to 200 a day mark. And another thing that I would say is considered horizontal scaling is also adding another platform like Google, for example. Like usually I start off with Facebook because it gets you more immediate results. It's a bit cheaper to get results there. Like it's cheaper to get leads there, I would say. But then on Google, it's a bit more tough, to be fair. Like PPC, so pay-per-click ads or YouTube ads and stuff like that, it's harder to get into, and it's a lot of the times more expensive in the beginning. But I would say if you're at this stage, it makes sense to add this second platform, especially when you want to scale things up long term. Because if you just limit yourself to just one platform, which is Facebook, then it's first of all a bit risky, because you really like have all your money in just one platform and everything just comes from that. And at the same time, it's just not as effective, because Google is a great platform too, and maybe you're going to start off with Google and then you're just going to add Facebook later on. It's good to have like multiple platforms, especially since they kind of like also work together. If you have like your Facebook pixel, which is kind of like the code on your website that tracks the conversions, then you can also like use the same landing page for your Google ad, and then you have the Google Pixel, which is the exact same thing just for Google. Then you can kind of like create, for example, a retargeting campaign on Facebook that retargets people from the Google ads and the other way around. So kind of like make the ads work together. This is a bit more advanced. If you guys want me to do a video on that, how I managed to do that, then just let me know in the comments and I'll record something like that in the future. But yeah, definitely try to add another platform with kind of like, yeah, do the same process with the second platform. Just start off with a rather slower budget and then kind of like, yeah, scale your way up. And then, yeah, so that's kind of like what I consider horizontal scaling. That works pretty well for me. So at this stage, let's just say you scaled your Facebook campaign to $200 a day. You added Google, scaled that up a bit. So now you're on $200 a day on Google as well. So in total, you're at $400 a day. At this stage, there are really a couple of like potential ad challenges that you can witness. The first one is just ad fatigue. Again, kind of like what I just told you a second ago. On Facebook, if you spend a lot, and especially if your market is too small, you can get ad fatigue very quickly. So, because kind of like you're when your market is small, like if your market is just like 500,000 or something like that, and you spend 200 a day, then you get a lot of impressions. So people will just see your ads like over and over and over and over again, and the ads will kind of like start to fatigue. There's a very good metric in Facebook which is called frequency. It tells you like how often people that saw your ads saw your ad. So if the frequency is 2, on average, someone saw your ad 2 times. If it's 3 times. And if that gets too high, then you know that you really need to do something. So what I would do about this, obviously, like if your service area is really like small, then that's kind of nothing that you can really change. It's not good. Like if you can target a broader area, definitely do that at this stage. But if you can't do that, then you can just try to still do it like as broad as possible. Just get the interest targeting and everything maybe a bit down. And then you can just start, again, like duplicating your campaigns, for example, trying to reach some new bubbles that Facebook didn't reach yet, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what I would recommend. But yeah, ad fatigue can be something at this stage that happens. And then I would say the biggest thing that I see with the people I work with is at this stage, the sales reps just can't handle the amount of leads. And you won't be able to maintain the KPIs. And maybe you think like, hey, I have a big sales team and it's great and everything, and that may be the case. But a lot of the times, like the numbers just tell the truth. And if you see your lead to inspection conversion rate goes down, then maybe instead of like blaming the lead quality, you need to look into like, is my sales team actually like following up with them as efficiently as possible, like they did in the beginning? Because again, like when you get like 300 leads a month and your team is not big enough, then it's going to be very hard for them to really like dial in and follow up with every single lead consistently to really like convert them. And at this stage, what I would recommend, like there are a couple of things you can do. You can build a call center, which is pretty costly. Even like outsource it to a call center, which is also not that great because it's not like really in-house anymore. And a lot of the times those outsourced call centers suck. So what I would recommend is a couple of things. So first of all, you can add more qualification on the funnel and kind of like test new ads to increase the lead quality. So for example, on my funnel, I always have like a quick survey that kind of like just pre-qualifies people. And in the beginning, I just have like 2-3 questions in there to make sure we don't get a lot of tire kickers, pre-qualify them. But then as you start getting like a lot of leads and you can't really handle the volume, you can try to add some more questions to that form. So you get like, maybe your cost per lead increases a bit. So instead of 300 leads, you're only getting 250 leads or a bit less, maybe even only 200 leads. But then the lead quality is a lot higher. So kind of like you still are able to maintain like the back end numbers and the return on ad spend, but it's a lot less pressure for your sales team. So that's something you can try at this stage. And also vetting your leads by using, for example, AI tools is very effective. There's an AI that's called Simple Talk, for example. It's just called Simple Talk. And it's basically a voice calling AI, which sounds relatively realistic. And it works. Like you can start integrating that. Like when a new lead comes in, instead of having your reps reach out to the lead, you can, for example, have the AI reach out and kind of like just pre-qualify them and book them in for an appointment, so your reps can just kind of like focus on closing the leads. And just add like those types of things like pre-vetting. And then at this stage also like text message automations get like really important to kind of like get them dialed in, and maybe even integrate some text AI. That's what I do a lot, to really like reduce the pressure for your sales team as much as possible. And then step 3, I would say, just build out internal structures to increase the efficiency of the sales team. Now, I'm really not an expert when it comes to that, because I'm not running a roofing business. I'm doing the marketing, so that's something you kind of like got to do, though, kind of like building out the internal structures. So I would say like advanced CRM techniques is what I see a lot. Like when I look at those very successful roofing companies, they just have like a super well thought out, very clean CRM that just keeps like, that has all the sales reps in there, and then you just have like a clean pipeline system that just works very well and is very efficient, so everybody has a very good overview of all the leads in there. And it's kind of like just with internal notifications and stuff, it's kind of like reminding the reps to follow up with certain leads, and it's just very efficient. And then again, like lead filtering strategies is what I would recommend to increase the lead quality. So this is how I would personally handle that. And that's also it for the video. It was a bit of a different video because it's not so technical. I didn't talk about GoHighLevel. I didn't talk about like how to come up with some good video ads or a landing page, all of that stuff. If that's what interests you, then definitely check out my channel. I have a couple of videos on there. But yeah, I still think this video is like a super important one, because really like I was trying to just give you like an idea of what expectations you need when you get into the advertising game, and how it actually works when you want to scale your campaign and reach like a big goal, like $5 million in revenue a year using ads. So yeah, I hope this kind of like gave you good insight. Let me know if you got some feedback in the comments or any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you.